following program is intended for mature audiences.
The time is now for the hardest hitting, yet completely trivial football show on the planet.
You are in rarefied territory.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Broken Helmet.
Let's rock.
And coming to you live on tape on this Friday evening, October 25th, 2024. It is the Broken Helmet, fixated on a ton of sports action. Right now, yours truly is fixed in on Boston College, Louisville. I ended up taking Louisville in several little shitbox parlays, and they are currently down 10 to Boston College on the road in BC. But I took the money line, so all is not lost quite yet. But in bigger news, World Series is a-rockin', along with basketball and hockey. The friggin' Devils killed one of my parlays already. So there is a lot of action. This is really, Chris, the sweet spot of the athletic betting calendar. I mean, there is everything going right now, and we're all in regular season. I mean, what are we missing?
Yeah, I mean, this is like these 2 weeks from like the last week of October to the first week of November. I guess college basketball doesn't kick off until the end of November, right? Or is it when's Midnight Madness? Was that?
Oh yeah, that's
November?
right. Okay, so that's it.
End?
That's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for college basketball to pick up. That's what we're waiting for. That's the one sport product that is not going quite yet. I forgot about college basketball. Yes, when college basketball is going, then it'll really be going.
But yeah, this last week of October, when you finally get like the World Series mixed with hockey, mixed with basketball, mixed with football, it's like college football, NFL, you get like 5 or 6 sports all going at the same time.
Yeah, because college football too. I forgot about that. Well, I mean, I mentioned that with the game tonight, Louisville versus Boston College, but I guess girls basketball, if you want to factor that in as well. Not WNBA, but the college female circuit, which obviously, has gotten a crazy amount of attention since Caitlin Clark joined, even though she is now graduated to the WNBA. I still don't think people give a shit, but that's just me. Anyway, being...
Well, all of Twitter knows that you don't give a shit.
I'm just pointing out the facts, bro. I'm just pointing it out. I get it. It is the WNBA finals. Fine. Whatever. But if you're at ESPN and you want to put that shit top fold, obviously there is no top fold. I guess it would be top page or whatever you want to call it. But you want to put that top fold when it is the Mets Dodgers. I think it was Mets Dodgers and I think NFL as well. I mean, give me a fucking break. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. The Liberty had their championship ticket tape parade. Nobody went. The WNBA, despite all of the publicity and press and all that other shit you read and hear about, and everybody talking it up, and Caitlin Clark this, and Reese whatever that, Caitlin Clark and...
This is an NFL pod, dude.
I know. Who's the other chick? It was her and... Not
Angel
Reese. Despite what, the goddamn league lost $40 million. $40 million, right? There's a reason for that. It's because nobody cares. But you're right.
I mean, it's bad. You're not the first person to report it's bad. It's bad. But ESPN's job is not to determine what sport is bad and not. It's just there to be a news reporting for sports.
I guess, fine, but they also have to focus in on what their target clientele is, and their target clientele does not care about the WNBA. I'm sorry, they don't. ESPN will never go away because it was first to market, and it still is the behemoth in sports media. But I'm telling you what, if they continue on this path of just pumping their not airwaves, but the broadcast waves with shit people don't want to hear, it will open up the door for somebody to come in and possibly take a share out of it. Because the way that they're going right now, I can't see them continuing on like this. The more and more people I talk to, the more and more people are just like, I don't watch. I don't fucking watch. And I was listening to FFT, and they weren't saying anything, but Azer was plugging CBS Sports Line, and he was plugging CBS
Sports Network
HQ. He was plugging Sports HQ, and even he mentioned, you remember how it was? You used to, and Sports HQ is what it used to be, right? Which is, if you're older, then that's kind of what you're looking for. But anyway, as I said, I to your point, yes, this is an NFL pod, so we'll get off this. But no, nobody gives a shit about the WNBA, but it is a product to bet on. And whenever female college, whenever basketball starts, girls basketball will add to it, and you'll just have all that more shit to gamble on. So anyway, without further ado, let's just get into it because we're a little time constrained here. So we will hop into first down and see how we did last week, because it was a fantastical week in several regards. So without further ado, let's go.
First down.
Okay, so we'll start off with the straight-up stats. It was the favorites again last week, 8-7. 5 of those 7 teams won outright. 2 teams did not. Chris, give me one of the 2 dogs that did not win.
The Browns.
The Browns. No! Your Raiders were a dog that did not win. And the other one was the Houston Texans in that 2-point loss to Green Bay, which was a fucking killer because I had Green Bay in several different things, one being my bets. And that would have been nice because that was the only thing I didn't hit last week. Was the Green Bay. I had them 2.5. I had them straight up along with Baltimore, who was my best bet, and a parlay. They did not hit. But anyway, those were the 2 teams that did not win as dogs. Home dogs were 2-4. Pittsburgh and Arizona were the only 2 that pulled that out. Unders won last week 9-6. The teases were as you would expect. Unders did not do that good last week. Overs did fantastic. Teams with a halftime lead were 12-3. They're still about 74% on the year. You want to know who the 3 teams that didn't win with their halftime lead? And I'm only bringing it up because it's kind of funky. Tennessee had a halftime lead versus Buffalo. Nobody would have thought it by looking at the final score because Buffalo destroyed them. The other one was Miami. I had picked Miami. They had the halftime, and then they lost it. And then the third, the Jets, who are just falling apart at the seams, had the halftime lead and fucking blew it. Gave you a chance and you blew it.
And then what's his name? Tore apart the locker room.
Oh, yes.
Afterwards.
Oh, hold on. I got another one. Incoming, Louisville, coming through for the Eggman. Well, I guess we're both Eggman, but for me. As they score, and now Boston College is up by what's going to be 3 points with 10 minutes to go. I'm gonna pull this out. That parlay's going to stay alive. So, yes, who tore him apart? Devontae Adams, right?
Yeah.
Adams went nut shit? Nut shit? What? Ape shit. Yeah, Jets are screwed. But anyway, they lost their halftime lead, and that whole team is falling apart. Now, as for us, let's get into it. You were phenomenal. This kid, 12-2. 12-2 last week in the 272, which is when we pick all of the games. So congratulations on that. You're now 58% on the year. I went 7-7, which is equal to what I am on the year. I'm 50%. It's a coin flip. We beat everybody else. Well, actually, I didn't. You did. The other category that was really good, the tickets, the general public, was 12-3 last week. Best bets, I won, you won. We both had Baltimore. That game was a blowout. I'm surprised it got so close at the end, but ultimately Baltimore did pull that off. I am 71% on the year for my best bets. You are 57. Super picks, Chris once again went 5-0, 2 weeks in a row. You have been undefeated. You are at 65% for the year for your super picks. I went 3-2. I am 63. Parlays, you went 1-1. I went 2-1. And as for our survivors, I had the Rams. You had the Eagles. So we both won and continued on, even though we lost because we've lost 2 weeks prior. So that's how that worked out. Now, all of those numbers are impressive. Most of all is Chris's 5-0 super picks plus his 12-1 every game pick. But we also hit at the cash register. As I did not think this originally going into it, but I actually did better than Chris. I, like I said, hit several things. The only thing I missed was Green Bay. And if at Green Bay just scored one more goddamn point, that would have given me another about $300. But I hit for about $1,500 last year. And for those of you playing along, we start with a $10,000 fantasy bankroll, and then we make some long form bets at the beginning of the year. And then as weeks go on, we bet every week. So I ended up hitting, my biggest one was a 6-team parlay. It was Philadelphia and the spread plus 5 money line games: Washington, Rams, KC, Pitt, Baltimore. They all hit. That was 50 for $9.95. I'll take it.
That's ridiculous.
It was fantastic. And had I done that in my actual account, I would have been much happier. But
I haven't hit a 16 parlay since it's 20 years. It's got to be at least 20 years now since I hit a 16 parlay.
Yeah, I mean, I think I actually did hit a 5 and a 6 in my personal account. But again, I don't deal with big numbers. So, if I get up there, I mean, I'm building up the account. So as I build it up, I try to dial up some of the bets. Of course, that's when it all comes crashing down, and that's how you lose all your money. But anyway, I am I have not scaled yet. I am in the process of building the bankroll to scale. But yes, it was a nice hit there. You were the one that got me into this stuff because ever since, you started doing the alt spreads heavily, in the parlays.
It's so good.
And,
so good.
Krakenberg from Wiesen and his Twitter thread, and he's on a bunch of shows on Wiesen. They continually, pound the table about how teasers have just gotten to be so shitty. Is when I've considered the alt spreads more and more. And the alt spreads, really, I mean, the bonus is that when you do teases, they give you the 6 points, and they penalize you for it because they dial down your odds. You do the alt spreads, maybe you don't need 6 points per game. Maybe you just want 2. Maybe you just want 3. And then you can vary it along the way. And if you think that a team is going to rock and roll, you can then dial that up even more. And if you dial that up even more, then, all the power to you. It actually gives you the, bonus odds, right? So Kansas City, for instance, last week, underdog. I did not make Kansas City my best bet, but I had them in basically everything. And they, it was, they were good, right? So that was a game that you could have dialed up. You could have dialed up Pittsburgh if you wanted to. They were underdogs, and you could have made them a favorite, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, but that's how I hit. And anyway, so I ended up winning about $1,500. Brought my bankroll over the $10,000, and I've got about $1,000 worth of long form bets. I'm up to about $10,500. So I'm about $1,500 on the year so far. You, my friend, also hit. You ended up hitting for another 750 bones. You hit Detroit, you hit Cincinnati, and then you hit your alt spread parlay, Buffalo minus 2.5, Rams, Kansas City, and Baltimore. Kansas City, you dialed up to 7.5. which gave you a ton of juice.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what we were just talking about. I was just talking about Kansas City. There it is in practice. And so that gave you 775 plus the 10,775 that you had originally. So now you're up to about, 11,500, I guess, give or take.
Yep. 11,525.
Yep. So you, sir, are up about $1,500 on the year.
Yeah, like 25,
I'm up 500.
2,500 if you
right, taking the long form bets out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I said it wrong when I quoted myself. I'm actually up only about 500, and then I have 1,000 on the long form bets. But you're up 1,500 plus your 1,000 long form bets in the hole. And I was looking at my long form bets. I'm not quite so sure about those anymore. But that's a question for a different time. So we are doing good there. Let's get into the big games. This week is, I don't know, what do you think about the games this week?
This is the worst. This is the week I've had less interest in all the games than any others. I like money line bets, and none of the games are giving me that feel of comfortability when trying to steal money, Like
yes. No, I completely agree. And this is the first week that I've looked and I said, oh, shit, like up until here, this was a conversation I was having with somebody else because I was talking about dogs winning, right? And how dogs win outright like 75% of the time. And the other person said, yeah, well, what are you talking about? You're talking about spreads that are anywhere from like 4 to 1.5 points. So if the dog covers, they're probably going to win. You're not talking about big spreads. And I said, well, you say it that way, and then I feel like an asshole for, pounding the table for betting dogs to win because, yeah, you're right. Usually the short spreads. So if the underdog wins, they end up outright winning, right? Versus, like Houston that covered because they lost by 2. This week, to your point, a lot of big spreads. -11, -8.5, -7, -5, -7, -10, -9.5. Big spreads everywhere, which I think this might be the first week this year that we see, that kind of number. We have 3 big road favorites, and I don't think we've got that this week. Big road favorite defined by a road team favored by 4.5 points. Completely arbitrary, but that's how we defined it over the years. But we've got 3 of those coming up. So, yes, I am in agreement with you. I had a lot of trouble looking at this week. And I actually did not dial up my betting all that much. I didn't take a week off, but I was kind of like, I liked last week. Why ruin it? So
I did, and I felt the same way until I made an obnoxious alt spread bet that I gotta spend some money to win money, and we're halfway through the season, so I'm feeling like I'm above. So even if I lose all of my bets, I'm still up.
Yes.
So that
right. It's kind of a fun week. And with that, Louisville Cardinals go up by 3. Touchdown, Louisville. Here's a team that was down 27-10. This is why gambling on a Friday night is fun, because you get to do a podcast with your brother and just watch your bets stay alive. Although, fuck the Devils, because how do you lose to the Islanders? You sons of bitches. Sons of bitches. Anyway, so like I said, college football, regular football, hockey, the whole 9, a lot of stuff to bet on. So, so we'll get into it here. Let's go into our top games for the week. Let me make sure that the thing is potted up. For the past couple of weeks, I've been hitting this button, and it hasn't been potted up, and then I screw it up. I got to go back and edit it. It's just a nightmare, but I got it today.
Second down.
So, without further ado, I only took 2 games that I thought were big-time games. The rest are arguable. There could be some other ones. But first game, we will take off and head out to Cincinnati where the Bengals will be taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. This game, depending on your book, I have it right now at -2 for the Bengals. They are going to have nobody on their side, actually, as the Eagles have 70% of the tickets and 87% of the money on them. Over-under for this game will be 48.5. Now, look, the Bengals' record, not so good. Offense has been rocking and rolling. As for the Eagles, they come off the bye and then just pound the shit out of the Giants in East Rutherford. I don't know if that's really something to brag about or get your enthusiasm up about, because the Giants kind of suck and they didn't have Andrew Thomas. They made them pay for that last week. Going into this game, look, the Bengals' defense, not so good. Their offense has been doing really good. Burrow has had not quite anymore, but he's had a great season. People have put more focus on it, as has Chase. The Eagles, on the other side, their defense played really well last week. Saquon Barkley has been a fantastic addition for them. Jalen Hurts has kind of struggled. Now, they've had injuries left and right, especially with the wide receivers. So maybe down the line they put things together. There's been a lot of focus on Sirianni. He was bitching and moaning at the fans in Philly 2 weeks ago. Now they get a win, but it feels like that is just a marriage that is going to be in the past. I don't know how soon. Maybe they end up going for a Super Bowl, but nothing feels right now in Philadelphia, but they're winning, so that's good. As for how this applies in this game, I don't know if Philly has right now the offensive prowess to get it done on the road against a Bengals team that I think can score on Philly. Chris, thoughts? It's a terrible segue. I just want to put you on the spot and just drop it on your lap.
No, it's fine. I don't believe that 13, 15 sacks that the fucking Eagles have had over the past 2 weeks is really something that's going to continue on. I know that the Bengals offensive line is pretty shitty and everything, but I can't imagine that's how it's going to continue to go. And I think that Cincinnati being at home with, as long as the spread might change once T. Higgins we get closer to game time and T. Higgins is either in or out. But if T. Higgins is in, I can't imagine Cincinnati losing this game regardless of how Philly plays. I feel like this game is a setup for Philly, and they're not going to be happy in the end.
Now, I'm looking at current odds. I'm looking at it on DraftKings. Should have said this to start off. I always try to, and then I forget. But the lines that I am quoting are off of DraftKings. The gambling stats are courtesy of Action Network app. As I look right now, Cincinnati is now 2.5-point favorites. I don't think the 2.5 matters to me. But I will say that over the week, I have been watching these games as I look to see what I want to do. I have not seen a week where I've seen the odds adjust more while I'm looking at my screen than this week. And I think this goes to your point. I think it's just a funky week. I think people are kind of all over the map this week with the spreads, especially since a lot of them are big. Not that this one is, but I see these spreads go up half a point, down half a point constantly. It's really kind of crazy. You're looking at a line, and then you're like, oh, that's gone. Okay, all right.
It has changed constantly.
Yeah, it's been a whole week, man. I'm just looking at it. I say, oh, shit, the 2.5's gone. Okay, all right, let's see. Let's wait for it to come back. Oh, no, and then we lost another half point. So, I don't know. When I was looking at this game, I will say that I had a little bit more faith in the Eagles than I had prior. My question is, if Cincinnati can perform on offense at home and go up, does that put Jalen Hurts in a spot where he plays like shit? Because he's been really on the fence this year so far.
He hates that. He hates Kellen Moore's offense.
Hates Kellen Moore's offense. Sirianni is just not good for the culture, and his program is kind of a mess. They're all over the place. Look, he lost Gannon, he lost Steichen. They pieced out over a year ago now. The incident with Big Dom last year is the thing that really kind of put Sirianni under the microscope, because how does losing your, what the hell is he, director of player security or something? How does losing that guy contribute to a team falling apart? And that's, by all intents and purposes, what everybody said. Is that...
I don't know. That's absurd.
I don't think it's ever gotten better. Now, they've gotten Barkley, and Barkley, this year at least, has definitely been a Band-Aid on what could be a powder keg, maybe. Who the hell knows? As long as you're winning, it's not going to matter. But last year, the same thing happened, and then it all fell apart. I guess the question becomes, does this become that game? And I just don't know. I do question the Bengals defense, and I think I question it enough here. I'm gonna end up taking I'm gonna take the Eagles here. I'm gonna take the Eagles.
I'm taking no way. I'm taking Cincy. I think this is a perfect setup for them. And once again, I said before, and this is going to change. It's Friday night, but by Sunday morning, you're going to know if that quad injury is really going to prevent Higgins from playing. But if he does, with Chase Brown as their new lead running back, they've been good, man. They've been really good.
Yeah, I don't doubt they have. I just, for whatever reason, I like the Eagles defense more than the Bengals defense. I think that they might be able to keep Burrow in check a little bit to the extent that their offense and Barkley can keep going. But I do agree with you. Higgins plays and him and Chase keep up with Burrow here. It gets to be, a 10-point thing and a completely different ballgame. Again, I don't think that. I think Hurts can play from ahead. I don't think he's going to play from behind. And I think the key for Cincinnati locking this up will just get out early and then get that second score. We'll see if that happens, but I'm going to go with the Eagles only because for whatever reason I kind of like them in this spot. If they are going to be a Super Bowl contender, I think this is the game that they have to win. Right? They have to win here, give everybody the middle finger, say, yeah, you doubt us, and go fuck yourself because we know what we got, and here we are, your little, your golden boy Burrow and his MVP season. Well, we just stuck it right up his ass. So,
I guess we'll see, right? I don't know. I don't think I love Philly. I usually pick Philly almost every week. I can't, even with Barkley. I have Jalen Hurts in 5 of 7 fantasy leagues, so I really hope they play well. I don't see them winning the game.
Well, we are going to see, and as Chris Berman always said, and Chris Berman, for those of you that never heard that name before, he used to be like the golden standard of NFL highlights, and I know everybody has, but I'm kind of making fun because now you don't even see the fucking guy, unless you pay for ESPN Plus. But as he used to say, that's why they play the game. So, next game. It will be the Sunday night football game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. San Francisco hosting this one and will be a home favorite by 4 points. 46 is the over-under. Pros versus Joe's game, although barely. There is 51% of the tickets on San Francisco, so that's basically a coin flip. But sharps are on the Cowboys. 57% of the money is on Dallas. Dallas always a darling with the public. So, in here it's going to be the money, not the public technically. But Cowboys coming off the bye, 49ers coming off that brutal loss last week at home. Everybody made it a big deal. They were going to get revenge on Kansas City. It did not happen at all in the process. They lost Brandon Ayuk for the season as he blew his knee out. No Christian McCaffrey. Deebo Samuel will be back, though, because he had pneumonia, and now he's out of the hospital, so he will be with the team. I don't know, be back. He will be with the team. It's funny because if he wasn't, their best wide receiver, and I read this on Twitter, so I'm kind of stealing it, but their best wide receiver would have been the one that just got shot 5 weeks ago. So that's the situation that San Francisco was in. Now, here at home, they need the win. Dallas still sounds like they're not going to have Parsons, their best defensive player. Obviously, San Francisco, injuries and things, galore going on, negative for them. But they need this win. 4 points, not a big spread. It's bigger than I would like. But, is it too big? Dallas, how does Dallas win this game? It just CeeDee Lamb? A whole lot of CeeDee Lamb? They have no running game. They've been getting shit on for like 2 weeks. Dallas media has been eating them up. I mean, there are so many bad teams this year in the NFL, and I'm sorry, I'm on my soapbox now, as you say. But God, there's so many bad teams, and this is one of them that has just been a fucking lightning rod.
Yeah, I don't like Dallas at all here, and as a matter of fact, San Francisco is my best bet.
Oh, lock of the week. I don't like the Cowboys either. I do like the 49ers. I don't have them as a best bet. I don't have them as one of my super picks. But even though they're coming off a bye, even though San Francisco did not look good last week, you're talking about Mike McCarthy against what do you call it? Oh, my God. I forgot the fucking coach's name. Shanahan,
yeah.
On the road, with a team that, what are you going to do? How are you going to make this work? They have CeeDee Lamb, and then what? What do they have other than CeeDee Lamb? Like, I can't even blame Mike McCarthy for this roster. It wasn't him. Jones just did not give him anything, which is what everybody's been asking about. And they keep bringing up Derrick Henry. Can we just get off at Derrick Henry? Did you think Derrick Henry was going to do this year?
No,
nobody did. Like, come on.
Dude, he is running down the field like a fucking 21-year-old. It's crazy.
It's unbelievable. Now, I also think that happens to be because of the offense that he's in. I think it's
no way, dude. He's running 80-yard runs.
No, I know. What I'm trying to say is that his style is to get clear of the first level and then run past the second level. And he's usually done that historically in Tennessee late in quarters, third and fourth quarter, that is. Mm-hmm. And I've seen a bunch of things on Twitter that have talked about that and came up with stats. You want stats, they're out there. Everybody and their goddamn brother's a data analyst. But I've seen them out there where they just show how he does in the third and fourth quarter. He wears people down, and then he goes nuts. And that's when he gets these big runs. He's getting those early now because he's just getting through like the first line and getting a weak second line, and then he just blows through the second line too, and then it's off. I was surprised he got caught last week.
The dude got him. I didn't even see the other guy there.
Neither did I. That guy fucking flew. Who was that? It was the I forgot who it was. I was drinking at the bar and I didn't get it. But man, he came like a bat out of hell. That should have been another 7 for Baltimore. And for Henry. But no, I don't think anybody thought he was going to be that good. You didn't. I didn't. He didn't get drafted high in fantasy.
No.
Some people grabbed him, but I don't know one draft that I was in where I said, whoa, that's a little early for Henry.
Yeah, the people who drafted him are people that don't follow football and just know the name.
Yeah, maybe. I remember Eges wrote to me, and I think it might have been before the round, or maybe it was afterward, but I wrote him something, and he was like, oh, yeah, well, Henry there in the third round, that's good value. And I was just like, I don't know, Henry? I was like, I don't know. I think he's just going to break down. So in this game here, obviously no Henry. But that started. We were talking about running the running game, and how Henry did not get picked up by the Cowboys. Cowboys, as a result, have no running game, and I don't think that helps them here. I just don't think CeeDee Lamb is enough to get it done. I guess if you want to question 49ers winning here, the 4 points, is it too much?
No, they're gonna smash that team.
Oh, you think it's going to be an outright crush?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you said it is your lock of the week, right?
At San Francisco, this is all the makings of. They don't have either of their defensive players. This is just going to be bad for Dallas. It's going to be bad.
Man, you say it like that, and they just
lost by 70, bro.
I had San Francisco as my first out for my super contest picks, and now I'm wondering if I should get him back in there. It's something to consider, because the more I think about it, I mean, I liked them. Here you are; it's your best bet. And as I've been talking about, because I can't keep my mouth shut tonight. It's going to be tough to think about how Dallas gets in this game. I mean, you would think Purdy's just going to have to stink up the goddamn field again. But he gets Debo back, a full week to plan. Getting Ayuk out of there might be a net positive for them. Because
yes, he's done nothing but clog up lanes.
Yeah, he just has not done anything for that goddamn team this year.
They hate him. Yeah, they just didn't like him this year. They paid him all that money. I don't know, dude. There is going to be some sort of, I don't know. This is not for this pod right now, but there's going to be changes made. There all these holdouts for people to get their money. All the owners are just going to get together and be like, we're just not going to pay anybody.
Well, did you see the retweet I had today where somebody said, like I said, the new the new preseason of the NFL is the first 4 weeks of the season. I was like, really? Wow, original idea. Nobody's been saying that. I know we've been saying it forever, and I know for a fact we are not alone, because we pointed out how other people have been saying it. So, but yeah, sure. If you want to, sure.
Yeah, you want to take credit for it? Fine.
Go ahead, take credit for it. So
you win.
All right, so we're both in on the Steelers. Enough of that. Let's go into the... Oh, did I give the over-under on that? 46 points is the over-under if I didn't give it before. Pros, Joes, and it looks like the pros are going to be in the Cowboys, but we are going to side with the Joes and the 49ers. Let's go down the rest of the ticket.
Third down.
So, first game will be... Oh, by the way, Thursday night game was Vikings-Rams. We don't count it, but I would have ended up going with the Vikings.
Ditto.
Yeah, and that ended up being no good. I thought they were going to be good on the road. And, it wasn't... I don't know if there was any... The Rams, if they're healthy, are a good team. They really are. And I know people were complaining about that face mask at the end, but, I don't know. That was just to get more downs and stuff. It's so funny to hear some people go back.
They still had to go 100 yards.
Yeah, I mean, enough was enough. But, and then all of a sudden everybody analyzes why it didn't work out for the Vikings. And then there's things, people pull shit out of their ass that they never said before, but then after a loss, this was one that I read. And this was, who's the guy that does DVOA? I think Aaron Schatz. And said, what we've been saying is that, it's surprising to see the Vikings defense do so good without any real superstars. And I guess now we see the limitations of that. Well, then, why wouldn't you just say it to begin with? Why do you have to say it now? If you knew it so much,
2020.
say it before. Anyway, so that was game one. We both would have lost that one, but we don't count that because the game is over. So, first game, Lions hosting the Titans. Lions. This game, 11 points. I just saw it at 11.5 points. Like we've been saying, the spreads keep going up and down and over and sideways. So whatever book you can get it at right now, let's just say it's 11. So Lions have 89% of the tickets, 92% of the money. Sharps have not taken a lean. Over-under is 45 points. Who are you going to take?
I took Tennessee, and then I switched it to Detroit because I just realized that after Calvin Ridley's now hurt, they don't even have – I mean, they got nothing.
11 points is so many points.
So many.
It's so many points. I don't even see how they are competitive in this game. They get rid of DeAndre Hopkins. The locker room has to be like, fuck us. Why do I have to fucking deal with this? We're just gonna.
And they traded away their top linebacker that they traded for before the season.
Right. I mean, at this point, if you're on, I used to think that the Giants were in Shitsville. There's a couple of teams that are in this area, but I think the Titans are at the bottom of the barrel.
They're going for the first pick.
They've got to be. Is there any team in the league? All 32 teams are playing this week. Is there any team you could think of currently? And let's not count the Saints because the Saints are hurt. Is there any team that's in a worse
Cleveland,
position?
You don't even need to finish this. Cleveland is in a much worse position.
Dude, their defense is way better.
Yeah, I don't care, but they have a $40 million contract to a quarterback who can't even play now.
Hold on, shut up. Did you go cupping? Cupping?
Yeah. One of our friends does it.
Don't be rude.
Cupping. All right, back to your regular schedule.
Have you ever done it?
No, I've never done it.
You ever gotten acupuncture?
No, I've never done acupuncture. But cupping? Seriously? It brings the toxins to the top of your skin.
Have you met Amy?
It gets rid of your toxins.
Have you met our friends, Christina and Amy, Finley's friends?
I have not.
Oh, she's great, dude.
I have not. Fucking
You know what you are? Contemporary. That's what we call you.
Call me whatever the fuck you want. I'm not going to go cupping and buying into that fucking pseudo bullshit. Sorry. I'm out.
Okay.
Back to the regular schedule program. So, you took the Titans here. I took the Lightning.
I switched to the Lightons.
He took the Lightons? Okay.
I switched to the Lightons, yeah.
All right. So, the Lions, it is for you?
Oh, Carolina could be in a worse position, too.
Oh, God, yeah. Titans, Panthers. Who would I rather be?
The Titans, for sure.
I mean, if you have the Panthers... Oh, well, yeah, maybe. I mean, if you have the Panthers, you have Bryce Young, so at least you have some kind of asset you might be able to trade for something.
Well, you have Jonathan Brooks.
But you have Jonathan Brooks, but you have Tepper as an owner, and he is just awful. Right, and
Cleveland's the worst. They're the worst market. They have the worst team. I'm sorry, you're not going to convince me otherwise. Whoever, if they get the first pick, whoever it is going to be like, oh fuck me, bro. I have to go to Cleveland.
I mean, their defense isn't bad. Anyway, speaking of Cleveland, they're the next game. They're going to be home dogs. This is going to be one of the big road favorites. Ravens, 8.5-point favorites on the road. 45.5 is the over-under. Sharps are on the Browns, and that's it. Heavy on both tickets and money on the Ravens. Who are you going to take here?
The Ravens.
You're taking the Ravens. I am doing the bullshit trendy pick. I am going to take Cleveland. Only reason why is I do like their defense. The Ravens have not had a strong defense, so they have let teams score. They let Tampa Bay back in that game at the end of last week. Can the Cleveland do it with fucking Jameis under center? I don't know, but I think their defense probably keeps them in it a little bit. It's not a comfortable pick by me, but I'm going to go Ravens. You're going to go with the Browns there.
Mm-hmm.
that could be, watch the Ravens win by like 40 points. So another road favorite, not a big road favorite, well, big enough, but not enough to qualify as the quote-unquote big road favorite. Packers 4-point favorites over Jacksonville. 49.5 is the over-under. Again, sharps on the Jags. Everybody else on the Packers. Heavy tickets. Not as heavy money line on Green Bay. Give me Green Bay and the 4.
Yeah, 100%.
I can't buy into the argument and the trendy Jags pick telling me that the Jags have figured things out. They went to Tanks Bigsby. They beat up on New England. They figured things out. No, I mean, enough. Enough with the Jaguars. They were terrible 2 weeks ago, and just because they win one game in London, and you pointed out that people have said they do good in London when they stay there for 2 weeks.
Second week.
Right? Second week.
Yep. That's it.
Now they got to go home, adjust for the 6-hour time difference, blah, 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 blah. And it's the fucking Packers. The Packers are good. They're fucking good. So.
Yeah, the Packers are really good. And what Jacksonville should do is blow shit up and trade away their assets as well.
Yeah, they should do that. They won't. Maybe they do toward the end of the year. We'll see. I don't know when is the trade deadline?
It's coming up. It's like week 10 or something like that.
It is, right? It's in the next couple of weeks. Yeah. So we're going to find out here. Maybe the best thing for the Jags is just to lose the next 2 weeks and then sell everything. So that would probably be the way to go. And I have lucked out because Boston College shanked a field goal, and they are going to lose here. Well, they did. They're actually at the 40. Let's see what happens here. 18 seconds left. 2nd and 10. Boston College back to pass. Rolling out to your left. Throws a deep bomb into nothingness. So 11 seconds here. I think we'll be good. So let's travel to New England. Pats hosting the Jets. Another road favorite. Here, the Jets, big road favorite too. Jets by 7. 41 is the over-under. Sharps on the Pats. Everybody else on the Jets. Heaviest on the money at 84%. Give me the Pats. Give me the Pats and the 7.
Yep, I took the Pats too.
Home rivalry, or NFC East rival, AFC East rivalry at home. Not sold on the Jets. Pats need one. What an awful hire. What's his face was? Gerard Mayo. Awful. And we talked about it at the time when we weren't recording shows. But did you ever, and this is another one that I've been posting to Twitter, have you heard anybody before the last 2 weeks talk about Gerard Mayo as a shit hire?
No.
No, not at all. I actually posted Stephen A. Smith's fucking rant about Gerard Mayo the day he got hired, January 12th. Because I remember when I saw it, I said, what a load of shit this is. And he ranted about how he was a great position coach and a player and And it was like, he has been a fucking head coach. He's barely been a coach. And now it blows up. So we're both on the Pats on that one. Let's go to Houston. Texans favored by 5 over the Colts. Sharps on the Colts. Everything else on the Texans. And heavy as well. Who are you going to take here?
Texans.
Me as well. I actually like that 5-point spread, too. Falcons, Bucks in Tampa Bay. Another road favorite. Falcons by 2.5. 46 is the over-under. No sharp, lean tickets in the money in favor of Atlanta. What do you think
about Atlanta?
Yep.
Love Atlanta.
I love Atlanta, too. It is one of my super picks, so we're both in on Hot Atlanta. Dolphins hosting the Cardinals. Cardinals screwed up one of my personal bets last week as they come from behind and end up winning that game. I just had Chargers and the money line. Cardinals pull that one out of their asshole to return it Tua for the Dolphins. We'll see if he can keep his eggs not scrambled up top. Dolphins favored by 3.5. 45.5 is the over-under. Trifecta game. Everybody leaning in favor of the visiting Cardinals.
I don't like Arizona here.
Nope, neither do I. I went with Miami. So we're both...
Yeah, this could be a game that Miami just they just let Tua just go crazy, and that poor dude, man. I really hope he doesn't get hit. I don't know. This is a bad idea. It's a bad idea.
It was a bad idea when they brought him back, and he was talking about, I can slide better. Now, what's crazy is that he did get injured because he didn't slide, right? Like he took a massive shot scrambling again.
Yeah, from the guy that almost died 2 years ago.
Right. So here's just a thought. Just a thought. You can like it, hate it, whatever. How about you just stay in the fucking pocket, read a defense, and throw the ball? Like they did forever. Fuck scrambling. Learn how to just be a pocket passer.
He's never there. Not one defense is going to be afraid of him scrambling.
I mean, why would you? He shouldn't.
No, he
shouldn't. And here's the part about this situation I think is bullshit on the NFL's part. How are you going to feel if you're a defensive player and you have him lined up in your sights in the open field?
Yeah, you're no. Of course. That's going to be like the number one thing. Nobody's going to want to fucking hit him.
Why? You're gonna like end his life. You could end his
goddamn
life.
They're gonna come running at him and be like, "Dude, go down."
Right.
They're gonna be screaming at him like, "Dude, go down."
What a ridiculous situation to put everybody else in that plays the Dolphins. Like the NFL should come in here and figure out some kind of settlement and been like, we cannot condone you playing. We just can't. We can't.
Yeah.
Instead,
really
they're going to let him keep going until he finishes career or he gets another concussion. And you guarantee it, and you can guarantee there will be another concussion. This year, next year, the year after that, it's coming.
No, he won't. He won't play past this year. He just wants to come back to finish the year, and then he'll quit.
Oh, I don't think so.
Mark my words.
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't think so, though. I think he is just dead set on playing. And, I mean, why wouldn't you? He loves playing the game. We all do. But at a certain point...
He could coach or something, man. This is not the way to go.
The NFL has to step in, or the teams have to step in, and they have to... I mean, the Dolphins should turn around and been like, we are not going to play you. And if the Dolphins don't, the NFL should. But it's criminal what's happening.
They're so bad without him.
Oh, well, they didn't play. You know, this was another. I've been trying to tweet more, only to just get more engagement and get my brain going. But I tweeted this too. Like, the problem with the Dolphins is that they didn't build around losing him, which is crazy if you think about it. Because we talked about it, talking about fantasy. We were like, you know, if you lose Hill or you lose any of these other people, your team is shot. I mean, if you lose Tua and you draft Hill or any of these other guys, their value goes away.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened. So, you'll see what happens next year. But I digress. We're both on Dolphins. 4 o'clock games, Bills, Seahawks. Bills by 3, another road favorite. 47 is the over-under trifecta. Everybody on the Bills. Who do you want?
Bills.
Yep.
Bills.
So we're both on the Bills. Let's go to the Chargers, who I mentioned before. They're home now. They blew that game last week on the road. All they had to do was finish the fucking game. They didn't. They let the Cardinals come back, kick a field goal, and they lost. They freaked out, too, because there was some bullshit refereeing, as there has been everywhere. Chargers favored by 7 over the Saints. The Saints do get Olave back. 40 is the over-under. 40.5, actually. Sharps on the Chargers. Everybody else on the Saints. Who do you want?
Not the Saints.
Yep, Chargers for me as well. So now we'll talk about your Raiders. They're going to be a big home dog. So, again, another big road favorite here. Chiefs by 10. 41.5 is the over-under. We got the pros going with the Raiders at the Death Star. Meanwhile, 82% of the tickets are on the Chiefs. Who do you want
Chiefs.
Here? I actually.
Oh no! I'm sorry. I took Las Vegas, but I played with the spread.
Oh, okay.
In my bets.
Okay, I took the Raiders too. So these two teams always play hard. they've talked about Mahomes 8 million ways from Sunday now about how he just isn't rocking and rolling. Raiders defense is okay, not great, but enough. So yeah, we're both on the Raiders there. Broncos home favorites now. The last I saw this just today, are they up to 11 points at home?
Yeah.
They are currently an 11-point favorite at home. This was 9.5 a couple of days ago. It is now 11 points in favor of the fucking Broncos. Trifecta game, everybody on the Broncos.
So weird.
41.5 is the over-under. I like the Broncos at 9.5 because I was like, what the hell is Carolina going to do? But 11 points for Bo Nix? I don't know if I can get behind that dude.
No, not at all. I don't care how bad Carolina is. It's that way because Deontay Johnson's out, Andy Dalton's out, the other wide receivers out. Like, they don't have anything. I actually am benching Chuba Hubbard in all my leagues too, which sucks because he's so good.
Where I have Chuba Hubbard, I don't have a choice. I got to start him. God, I'm really going to pick the Broncos at 11 points?
No.
So many points.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to change. I have them marked down, but I can't. 11, at 9.5, I was like, all right, 10 points, but 11 points? Holy fuck. That's a lot of points. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to the fucking Panthers. Can't do that one. Bears, Commanders. Bears favored by 3. This game was 1.5 when it opened, and I couldn't believe it was 1.5 because blatantly Jaden Daniels was not going to play. Without him, it hasn't gone up that much. It's gone up 1.5 points. So, I mean, the tickets and the money are in on the Commanders, though. The sharps are on the Bears. Give me the Bears. I'm sorry. Without Jaden Daniels, he's that entire offense, and their defense sucks.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to bet on Marcus Mariota, go crazy. I'm not going to do it.
Right? I mean, come on. 43.5 is the over-under if I didn't say it. If I did say it, then I just said it twice. So we're both in on the Bears. We talked about the Sunday night game. And so the next game that we have left, the final game of the week, is the Monday night game, which is awful because it is going to bludgeon everybody's eyes with the New York Football Giants on the road against the Steelers. This game was 6.5. I'm looking now. It is now 6. Like I said, these lines keep moving. Steelers favored by 6 at home. Trifecta game. Everybody in on the Steelers. 36 is the over-under. They're expecting nothing here. All I got to say is with the Giants, without Andre Thomas,
Andrew
Thomas at tackle, I mean, you just got destroyed by Philadelphia in your own building. What the fuck are you going to do with the Steelers on the road? Their defense is going to destroy the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Destroy it. It was one of my considered best bets. I ultimately didn't go with them, but it was my first out for best bets. You're taking Steelers as well?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, so we're both in on the Steelers. So now let's get to our picks and our wagering segment. Let's go.
4th down.
So as we look at this week, if you want to look at home dogs, there are 8 of them. If you want to look at teases, there are a lot you could think of. Like I said, this week has a lot of large spreads. So you can look at the Ravens, the Jets, Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos, Steelers. You can bring all of those teams down. And if you wanted to dial the numbers up, you could look anywhere on the underdog side of the frame, docket, whatever you want to call it. I say docket like 20 times in a broadcast here. But there are tons of underdogs that you could tease up. But before we get to the money, let's get to the brass tacks picks. Best bet. You already gave it. I will say it again here. It is San Francisco for Chris at home against the Dallas Cowboys. I ended up going with the Green Bay Packers on the road against Jacksonville again. I I think Green Bay is way better team, way better coached. I got no faith in Jacksonville, and I'm not going to. I mean, Green Bay just went toe-to-toe with Houston. Granted, it was at home, but Houston is an infinitely better team than Jacksonville, and they beat them by 2. And people were trying to pick Jacksonville, or like there was a game. Didn't Jacksonville just play Houston a couple games ago or something? But there was some game that Jacksonville was in recently in the past 3-4 weeks, and everybody was trying to juice up Jacksonville, and I was like, what are you guys talking about? But here, give me Green Bay. So you're going to take San Francisco at home by 4. I'm going to take Green Bay on the road by 4. Super Contest picks. Who do you want? You are 10-0 in the past 2 weeks.
I took Baltimore, Cincinnati, Miami.
Oh,
Buffalo.
Miami. Look at Miami making an appearance.
Buffalo and Pittsburgh.
Oh, my God. You know what? I completely skipped that game, and I don't know how. It's when we went into the 4 o'clock game. Oh, no, we did. We both picked the Bills in that game. Sorry. I had it marked down. Did we talk about the Bills? I don't think we did.
Yes.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, we quickly took them.
Oh, we both took the Bills. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
So, all right, Baltimore. So I completely screwed up the podcast there. Super Contest picks. You took Baltimore, Cincinnati, Miami, Buffalo, and Pittsburgh. So where did I fall on that? I only took one of the ones that you did, and that'll be the final game that I pick. I did take Green Bay. That was my best bet. I also took them there. I took Houston at home with the 5. I took Atlanta on the road and the 2.5. I took Chicago on the road in the 3, and then, like you, I took Pittsburgh and the 6. I do like Pittsburgh. Like I said, it was my first out for best bets. San Francisco I have as my first out for the Super Contest picks, and I'm trying to figure out, take Atlanta out and put San Francisco in? Take Chicago out and put San Francisco in? I don't know. Maybe Atlanta, if anything, because Atlanta has a tendency when they do stink, they really stink. But, I mean, it's against a super banged-up Tampa Bay team.
Baker's is going to have to convince me he knows what to do without his best receivers for this to be anything.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I feel bad. I'd like to get San Francisco in there. I just don't know who I take out. You know, there's nothing real. You know, Houston 5 points is 5 points too much for Houston. You know, I mean, we talked about that game. The Texans are home versus the Colts. You know, All right, I'm going to leave it as it is. San Francisco just is going to have to remain on the sidelines. So we will go to our Survivor picks next. Last week, you hit with Philadelphia, you took Philadelphia, right? And I ended up taking, I forget who it was. I wrote down Philly on my side and your side, but I took the LA Rams. Sorry about that. I took the Rams. You took Philadelphia. We're both good. We're out because we had 2 losses intra-season, but it doesn't stop us from continuing our picks. Who are you going to take here?
I took Pittsburgh.
Oh, look at us. We are both in agreement. I took Pittsburgh as well. That's the way to go, right? Because Pittsburgh could stink at certain points during the year, but this week at home versus the Giants. Now, have you been?
That's going to be like a 80%. I think 80% of the population is going to probably pick them for Survivor
if they have it available. Yeah, and they should, because I don't know who would have been going with Pittsburgh at this point. Now, have you been following the Circa Survivor pool and where they're at? How that's been going?
No.
So I forget the total entries, but it's something astronomical. I don't know a number, so I'm not even going to say it because I'm going to say something stupid. But
do you have to pay to get into it?
Yeah, this Survivor pool at Circa out in Vegas is like the biggest one, right? So it's just monster entries. Everybody always, whatever it is. At this point, up to last week, it was last week or 2 weeks ago. I might be screwing up the weeks. It fell all the way down to 225 entries still existed. And then I think last week they only lost like 10 or 15. So they lose all these, and then all of a sudden everybody's betting with the same people. So, so there's 200 and something left in the survivor pool, and it's only week 8. So they lost a ton on the beginning weeks, and I mean, like we did, they were, I mean, surefire winners that just blew up. That Jets loss in week 4 for me, I never thought that was going to happen. And I think there was which one, San Francisco. Your week 5 one, I think, was a big disappointment. I forget because I don't have the schedule behind me. But anyway, so those are our survivor picks, and let's go to our actual wagering. Again, I have about 10,500 in my bank account. You have 11,500 in yours. I will let you go since you have the bigger wallet.
Sure. So I did 2 straight bets. Green Bay -4. That's 150.
I like that one.
Yeah, 150 to win 290, and another one, Atlanta -2.5.
I like that one too.
250 to win 425.
Oh, so you really like Atlanta, and I think you said that earlier.
Yeah. And I did 2 money line parlays. First one is 250 to win 890, and that is Baltimore, Detroit, Houston, and Cincinnati.
I like all of those. Cincinnati is the only one that I pumped the brakes only because I kind of like Philly, but who the hell knows? But yeah, I got you. Okay, let's go.
That gave me the best odds. That boosted my odds.
You could split that though and go like Baltimore, Detroit, Houston for like 150.
It was nothing. It was like 250 to win 400.
And then you could put Cincinnati as correlated and put the rest of the money on that. I just thinking about ways you could split it up.
Yeah, I get it. Then I did another money line parlay of Buffalo, Kansas City, Chicago, and San Francisco, and that's much better odds. That's giving me 5 times my money. That's 250 to win 1250.
Really?
And then
you don't have a dog here.
Yeah, but Buffalo's only like 3, Chicago's only 3, San Francisco's only 4, Kansas City's the only big one.
And those are all money line?
Yeah.
Really? So Buffalo to win, Kansas City to win, Chicago to win, San Francisco to win. I picked all those teams, and that's given like 5 to 1 on your money?
Yep.
Wow. Something to consider. Yeah, I mean, probably worth a little bit. I mean, all those teams have to win. I picked them all. Good one. Okay, continue.
And then my last one is a really big bet. This is my alt spread. I took all of the big favorites, anybody that was 6 points or above, and I lowered them. So I took Baltimore to win by a field goal, 2.5. Detroit to win by 2.5. Kansas City to win by 2.5, and Pittsburgh to win by 2.5. And that is 500 to win 15-20.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense to me because there's 4 teams. You're putting them all. I mean, again, you have to win. You just have to win by field goals.
Correct.
But that's weird. Why? And that gives you basically 3 to 1 your money. The other one is 5 to 1 in your money.
Yep.
How is that so?
Because 3 of those games, 2 of them are on the road. All 3 of the 4 are a field goal or less. So you're essentially almost even anyway. Remember, a 14 parlay typically pays 10 to 1. You're only getting 5 to 1.
I know, but when I look at it, I'm looking at Kansas City and the... Now, again, this all ends up just being straight math and fractal, fractions and, odds and multiplication, algorithm. But Kansas City is huge favorite. And then you put them with 3 other teams, and it didn't really, weigh down. You still got better odds doing that. Really,
I will tell you, that's the end of my bets.
I'll have to toy it around.
That's the end of my bet. So
Yeah, I had less than you. I'll have to toy around with it because the more and more I look at it, I'm like, man, I just didn't do enough research when I was putting my bets in, because that to me is like, shit, that's worth $100. That's fuck it. You know what? I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna add it into mine. Okay.
So that's the end of my bets. If I lose, I'm back to even on my money, so I'm not really losing. But just a note that I wanted to add in that I don't think I've talked to you about. I've been doing for the past, I think, like 3 or 4 weeks, I came up with like a new algorithm for betting on Hard Rock that seems to be working out well. I've been taking,
and for those that aren't familiar, Chris lives in South Florida, where the only the only betting app that there is the Hard Rock app. There are no other operators that are allowed in the state. It's all because the Seminoles own it. They also won a big court case where all of any kind of sports wagering must go through the Indian casino, including online. So it's got to go through their servers. So Chris bets on Hard Rock because that is the only thing available. So continue.
So I've been doing, and I've actually won 3 or 4 weeks in a row, but I've been doing 2 or 3 anytime touchdowns for the whole day. So you just pick any games, and they could be the most obvious, dude. It doesn't even matter. Just like people are just going to score. And you build them into a parlay, and then you take the Monday night or Sunday night game, and you pick the underdog.
Okay, so say this again. Very convoluted.
Yep. So you pick 2 or 3.
2 or 3 what?
Anytime touchdowns.
Okay, 2 or 3 anytime touchdowns. Gotcha.
For all of Sunday games. So that's 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock games.
Sure. Just spread them out. Doesn't matter. Put them all in the same population and pick 3.
Yep.
Pick 3,
2.
Right?
You could pick 2. You could pick 3.
All right,
Depends
2 or
on
3
how
anytime
much
touchdown. Got it.
Then you pick the underdog from either Sunday night or Monday night. And it's just going to juice your odds. The goal is just to juice your odds.
Okay.
Then if you hit, which I have, which has been great, if you hit the 2 or 3 anytime touchdowns, then Hard Rock will let you cash out. They won't let you cash out on anytime touchdown parlays. But they will if you end the parlay with a game.
Okay. So you're trying to finagle the system to up your odds, but get out of the anytime touchdowns because that has been a preventative measure for you getting a cash out option.
Correct.
Gotcha.
So, like last week, I could not fucking believe it happened, but within a 5-minute span, I hit a 4 running back anytime touchdown parlay.
Who?
Barkley, Kenneth Walker, James Cook, and shit, I have to look. They all scored within 5 minutes of each other.
Brian Robinson?
Brian Robinson.
Yes.
The most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. I could not believe they all hit within 5 minutes of each other.
Well, if there are 2 running backs that you want to go per capita or per rush attempt that have been scoring, Brian Robinson and Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
Have been scoring the most per rush attempts. I think.
And their odds
at least
are
a high
only
clip.
like their odds are only like minus 110, minus 120. Like they're not like minus 450.
Yeah, sure.
So you combining them into a parlay of 2 gets you like 3-1 odds. Then adding the underdog gets you like 7-1 odds.
Right, and then you can follow that live and just wait, depending on what you want to do, you can either punch out before the game or you can play for it live, hoping that the one team gets a touchdown, and then you just punch out.
Or you can, if you really want to, you can do the 3 anytime touchdowns plus the favorite, and then you can bet the other way and essentially get, good money and coverage of your bet plus something for a cheaper value because you're betting the underdog, obviously.
Right. Yeah. Look, historically speaking, I understand. If you talk to hardcore bettors, people that have been betting for, if we really wanted to bet, we probably could have been betting for 20 years now. You would have had to done it with bookies up until Jersey won the court case. But if you talk to people who have been betting, let's say 3+ decades, they will all look you square in the eye and tell you parlays are junk. I am not arguing with them. They have a lot more.
No, they are 100% right.
Knowledgeful. However, I don't think going single bets, high volume in the modern era is the best, is the only way, or maybe even the best way to try to increase your bankroll. Like maybe you've got reads and you want to go heavy on games, but if you end up going, how many people can pick? We do the 272 every year, and we pick every game. And if you were to put $100 on all those games, let's see where we were last year, just to revisit. At the end, I was 129 and 112, so I was positive a total of 17 games.
$1,700, yeah.
Right, and you were 120 and 121, so you were down 100, right? So picking high volume, I don't know of that. Now, maybe there's some bettors out there that just have that knack and can, hit and identify when they're going to be in the right and jack it up, whatever.
Well, that's also but that is not comparing apples to apples. That's comparing apples to oranges, because people are not going to bet every single one of these horrible games. They're not.
True that. I agree. I'm just talking about volume. We do the 272. All right, so our best bets. Let's do our bets. Well, let's do our super picks. Our super picks last year. I was 43 and 41. You were 45 and 43. This year, if you want to do it this year, if I can flip over here, my computer is locking up on me. But as I look at this year, if you were to do super picks, you are 22 and 12. You're plus 10. I am 22 and 13. I am plus 9. Right, so and those are like your 5 picks. So we're
about to face regression. It happens. It's just the law of averages. We're not going to finish 10, 15, 20 above. I mean, if you do, then you have to combine this year and last year, and in the end, they will all come out to 50%. That's why, or less, because that's how casinos get so rich. That's just
casinos just get
bookies.
Rich because the odds are always in their favor. But anyway, a long point to say, I think that in the modern era, I do think you need a little bit of added in parlay, teaser. You need, if you want to call it junk, I think you need a little bit of the junk. It's where you get the accelerators. And by accelerate, I mean you're just getting that multiple because you're jacking up the odds. I think you have to be smart about it. You can't go gung-ho. But much like any kind of stock portfolio or investment portfolio, you need to throw out a little bit of risk, right? You need some spec money out there.
The 272, if we flipped a coin for every one of these games, heads to the favorite, tails to the underdog, I bet you by the end of the year, we would probably be close to what that flip of a coin is, because that is the law of averages. There is a winner and a loser, and regardless of what we pick, be based off of our thoughts, we're still at a 50-50 shot, just like a coin.
And yes, that's the math. When we do it, though, we're trying to factor in our knowledge of the game and trying to imagine that we're better than the coin flip.
Which we are up to this point.
Yeah. I mean, this year, yeah. I mean, this year we're doing way better than last year. I mean, last year, yeah, I mean, whatever. I like we said, you were 1 down. I was 12 up. This year, completely different. This year, you're up 15. I'm down 1. So, different this year. But I was just saying that, I like screwing around with all these lines and playing with the alt spreads and parlays because, I think you need it. I really do. I think you got to throw the dice sometimes. Not a lot. I mean, that comes down to bankroll management. You have to learn, how to use it. But I do think that there is value in the parlays and the alt parlays and all the rest of that and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so let's get to me. We got to you. Those were your bets. And just rewind it if you want to hear what Chris's are. Here are mine. Give me Pittsburgh, Atlanta with the spreads as a parlay. Pitt -3, Atlanta -2.5. 50 or I'm sorry. This is a alt spread. I brought Pittsburgh down to 3. I left Atlanta at 2.5. 50 for 144 on that one. The next one is a straight up spread parlay. Green Bay and Houston. Green Bay -4, Houston -5. 50 for 180 there. Then I did a money line parlay. Give me Detroit to win, Houston to win, Chargers to win, Broncos to win, Pittsburgh to win. 100 for 360 there. Then I ended up taking, this was a parlay of these teams should kick fucking ass because they're just better. Pittsburgh -6, Houston -5, Green Bay -4, Chicago -3. Give me 50 there. That will be for 685. And I have $50 left to round it off to 300. I'm going to steal your alt line parlay. Give me Baltimore -2.5, Detroit -2.5, Kansas City -2.5, Pittsburgh -2.5. 50 for 300 in that one. So that is what I'll do. 300 from me. And
you fucking walked them.
What's happening? Oh, you're ahead of me because I am on a delay here. We are watching the Dodgers-Yankees in extra innings here, and I don't think that my guy has gotten up to the plate yet. I am really far behind. So who's up? What happened? What did I miss?
The Dodgers are up.
The Dodgers are up. The Dodgers are no. This is extra innings, is it not?
Yeah.
Oh, I have the Dodgers in the field.
No. Dodgers are batting.
Oh, so I have something wrong with mine.
You got to reset it.
Yeah, I got to go. I got to somehow get to the live feed because I was watching that Louisville game. Louisville ended up winning. Wow, we're really boring everybody here that's listening to this. You guys go. You'll know what the fucking result is before we will. So without further ado, let's just get the hell out of here. You got to do a little bit of work too, and I will try to catch up and figure out what's going on in this Yankee. Oh, I see. Yankees up 3-2, and so they must be in the bottom of the 10th, I guess. And so without, like I said, without further ado, so nice I said it twice, we're out. All right, Chris, peace out. Enjoy. All the best of the fam. Everybody else, enjoy your betting. I hope you guys all win. All that fun stuff.
Adios.
Peace.